Hey guys, it's Luke and today I am going to be sharing with you the books that I got for my birthday. So, my birthday is smack dab in the middle of June, and I asked for quite a few books this year, and I'm really excited to have received the books that I asked for. Basically, I haven't bought any books since Christmas because I've been away at school, so I kind of was just like making mental lists of all of the books that I wanted for my birthday, and I'm super excited to share them all with you. I have already read a ton of the books. Like, some of the books I asked for I'd already read, but I've also read a few already. So yeah, let's just jump right into the video. Also, these are in no particular order, but first I have the Daughter of Smoke and Bone complete gift set. It's still in the plastic because I don't know, I just haven't unwrapped it yet. And so this is Daughter of Smoke and Bone, Days of Blood and Starlight, and Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor. I read the first book, Daughter of Smoke and Bone, in May, and I really loved it. And I wanted to have the complete series, and I do really like these new covers. I like the original UK covers more, but these are still really cool, and they definitely fit the vibe of the series. And I'm super excited to continue on with the next two books and see how I feel about the entire series now that I have the complete collection to binge. Next, I received some surprise books. So the first is Shakespeare, the Man Who Pays the Rent by Judi Dench. I really like Judi Dench. I think she's really funny, and I like a lot of her movies. And I don't really know what this book is about, but it says it's a magical love letter to Shakespeare, as said by Kenneth Branagh. And I just really want to read it. I think it's going to be really interesting, and it'll be cool to see a book, or to read a book written by Judi Dench about Shakespeare, who she obviously knows a lot about, having done a ton of Shakespeare plays in her illustrious career. And then I got two smaller books. So I got How to Smile and How to Train Your Human, A Cat's Guide. These are just two cute little books that my mom got for me because she thought I would like them, and I'm very interested in seeing what they are about. Next, I have Wish of the Wicked by Danielle Page. This is the first book in a YA fantasy duology, I think, and I asked for this because I just read the prequel novellas in the Dorothy Must Die series, and I really like Danielle Page's writing, and this is like a fairy godmother origin story that I've had my eye on since it came out, so I am intrigued to see what this is about, and if I enjoy it as much as the Dorothy Must Die series, which I started. So it says that revenge is pure magic. So I think this will be a really fun, magical book, and I'm excited to read another one of Danielle Page's retellings. Then I have Happy Place by Emily Henry. This is the paperback. This is one of the books that I've already read. I read this last year, and I have all the paperback editions of Emily Henry's books, so I wanted to wait until this one was released in paperback, and I really love this book. It was one of my favorites of last year. It's a romance book that follows two main characters who, or kind of follows a bunch of main characters, but Harriet and Wynne are like the main characters, and they used to date in college, and they have this group of friends, and they go to this house up in Maine every single summer, and this is the last summer that they're going to be going up there, and Harriet and Wynne are not telling any of their friends that they actually broke up, so they have to pretend that they're still together. And I mean, it's a romance book, you can probably guess where the story goes, but I would definitely recommend this one. I love it so much, and I'm very happy to have a physical copy. Next, I have Dark Star Burning, Ash Falls White by Amelie Wen Zhao. This is the sequel to Song of Silver, Flame Like Night, which I read last year, and this is the finale to the duology, and I really want to see what happens to the characters. This deals a lot with Chinese mythology, and it's really fun, very atmospheric, with great writing and some really intriguing characters and a really intricate magic system that I'm excited to dive back into. Next, I have The One and Only Family by Katherine Applegate. This is the fourth and final installment in the One and Only series, and this is another one that I already read. I read it in June, so I'm going to be talking about it in that wrap-up, but really enjoyed this. I always love this series and returning to it, and this was a great finale as well. Next is The Brothers Hawthorne by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is a companion to the Inheritance Games trilogy, which I just finished up earlier this year, and this is the next book in the series that follows Jameson and Grayson, I guess, as the blurb just told me. And I really like the series. I think it's fun with a lot of clues and puzzles. It blew up this in the last couple of years, and I definitely want to dive back into the world and see it through some eyes that are not Avery's and see what the Hawthorne brothers are up to in this installment. Then I have The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. This is another book that I've already read. I read it in May, so I talked about it in that wrap-up. This is another romance book that follows Anna and Liam, and they basically have to pretend that they're dating because of like family drama, and it takes place in Indonesia at Liam's sister's wedding. They had like a marriage of convenience in college. Liam and Anna did, because they needed subsidized housing, and it's really fun. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It's definitely going to be one of my favorite books of the year, and I am very excited to have a physical copy because I love this cover so much, and I also really loved the book. Then I have another book that I already read, which is Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. This is another book that I gave 5 stars to this year. I read it in April. It deals a lot with the publishing company and like racism and, you know, just a ton of stuff. It's kind of like I wouldn't say like a typical psychological thriller, but it definitely has thriller vibes. It definitely is a satire. It has a main character that you just want to shake until she like realizes her mistakes, and it is one of the most gripping books I have ever read. Once again, very happy to have a physical copy that I can refer to if I ever want to reread the book, which I foresee I will do in the future. Next up is Her Radiant Curse by Elizabeth Lim, another book I've already read. I read this last year, and I never had a physical copy for some reason, but this takes place in the same world as Six Crimson Cranes and The Dragon's Promise. It's a prequel to that duology, and I loved it. It was one of my favorite books of last year, and I'm very excited to add it to my collection, and I love the cover, I love the spine, it's going to look so good next to the other two, and yeah, just I love Elizabeth Lim, and I really love this universe that she has created. Next, I have Destroy the Day by Bridget Kemmerer. This is the 3rd and final book in the Defy the Night trilogy, which I've been reading since it came out, and I've been waiting a very, very long time for this last installment, so I cannot wait to see what happens to Tessa, and Korik, and Harriston, and all the characters, see what happens to this world, and see how things pick up from the massive cliffhanger of the second book. And it's definitely a chunky finale, so I'm very, very happy about that. And yeah, I can't wait to dive in and see how everything comes to a close. Then I have A Magic Steeped in Poison by Judy I. Lin. This is a book that kind of like blew up for like a millisecond. It was like #1 on the New York Times bestseller list, but I didn't hear a lot of people talking about it. But I love the cover, and I've heard that it has to do with like tea, and tea is a part of the magic system, which sold me immediately, so definitely excited to read this and see what type of mythology and magic system I know I'm going to fall in love with. Next, I have Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. This is the sequel to Divine Rivals and the finale to that duology. The Letters of Enchantment duology is the official name, and I read Divine Rivals in April and really, really enjoyed it, so I'm excited to have this follow-up, and I've heard that this is even more intense and heartbreaking and romantic than the first installment, so I am pumped to see how I feel about it. Then I have Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid, another book I've already read. I read this like when it came out. I actually got an ARC for it, an e-ARC, but I never had a physical copy, so definitely excited to add this to my Taylor Jenkins Reid collection, and yeah. I forgot that I never owned this book, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get Malibu Rising. It follows a family who are like surfers, and they throw this big house party that ends in an inferno, and yeah, it's really interesting and fun, and I loved it. It was one of my favorite books of the year when I read it, so. Or was it? I can't remember if it was an honorable mention or if it was like an actual favorite, but regardless, I'm happy that I have a physical copy now. Next, I have Fatebreaker by Victoria Aveyard. I just read this book at the end of June, and I loved it. It's going to be one of my favorite books of the year. Sensing a trend here. And this is the 3rd and final book in the Realmbreaker trilogy, which is about, like, portals and a ragtag team of misfits who are sent to close all of these portals before the big bad can continue opening them and letting monsters seep into this realm. So it's really fun. If you like ensemble casts, if you like epic fantasy, I would definitely recommend this trilogy. Next, I have Bloodmarked by Tracy Deonn. This is the sequel to Legendborn, which I read a couple of years ago and really enjoyed, and I've been waiting for it to come out in paperback so that I can continue on with the series. And this is like an urban fantasy that takes place at UNC Chapel Hill with some Arthurian legend mixed in, and I really enjoyed the first book, so I'm excited to see how things continue. And we just got a cover reveal for the third book, so I'm definitely more excited to jump into this sequel. I also have Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This is her latest romance book, and I've heard great things about it. I've read all of her books, and they've been kind of hit or miss for me, but this one definitely seems up my alley. It kind of deals with two people that feel as though they have had a bunch of bad luck with romance, and they decide to try to get together, I think, just for the summer to see if it works or something. If, like, it'll cancel out because they think they both have, like, curses on them. It seems really cute, and I hope that Abby Jimenez can hit it out of the park with this one, because I know she can. So we'll see. Then I have The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. I actually was never planning on reading this book. I don't know why, I just, like, it never intrigued me. I don't really like popular TikTok books more often than not. But then I found out that it has to deal with the Great Library of Alexandria and, like, this secret society, and I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. So I really hope I like this, because it seems like I will. I hope it's not like another cringy TikTok book. So I'm willing to give it a shot, and I really hope that I like it, because I love secret societies. I love the Alexandrian history and everything, so we shall see. This is the one I'm most nervous about, but I'm taking a chance. Next, I have Night of Cake and Puppets by Laini Taylor and illustrated by Jim DeBartolo. This is another book that I've already read. I should have showed this with the Daughter Smoke and Bone series because it is a companion novella, but I wanted the physical copy because it's so beautiful and it has, like, illustrations, and I really enjoyed it. I usually don't care about novellas, but this one is really cute, and I read the ebook, so it didn't have, like, all the illustrations, I don't think, so I'm excited to flip through and kind of see what the drawings look like. Next, I have House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas. Literally, my hand is, like, fully open to just hold this book because it's, like, 830-something pages long. This is the third and final, I think, book in the Crescent City series. I've read the first two books, like, when they came out, so I'm kind of shocked I haven't read this book yet because it came out at the end of January and it's July already, but I'm gonna get to it. I wanted to wait till I have a physical copy, but then I actually had the physical copy in my hands, and now I'm like, do I want to commit to a almost 850 page book? But I'm gonna do it at some point. I don't know when, but I'll definitely have to pace myself with this book because it's just enormous, and usually that wouldn't faze me, but, like, Sarah J. Maas often writes books that are too long for what is actually involved in the content, so we'll see what she does here. But I do have faith because I really enjoyed the first book in the series, and I love a lot of Sarah's books, but I didn't really love House of Sky and Breath that much, so again, we'll see what happens with this book. I have a feeling I'm going to enjoy it because the ending of House of Sky and Breath was so explosive, but we will just have to see, and hopefully I don't break my wrists trying to read this book. Okay, we only have 2 more books left, so just hang in there. The second to last one is The Prisoner's Throne by Holly Black, another book I've already read, and I read this in March, like around the time that it came out, and I have a physical copy now to add to my Holly Black collection, and I did really like this book. I thought it was really enjoyable and, like, a good entry into the world of Elfame, and it was really fun. It's the sequel to The Stolen Heir, by the way, which was one of my favorite books of last year. I didn't love this as much, but it definitely was pretty satisfying, and I do love the cover as well, so that's always a perk, right? And the last book that I have for my birthday is actually the book that I'm currently reading, and that is Children of Anguish and Anarchy by Tomi Adeyemi. The finale is finally here, and I'm, like, smack dab in the middle of this book. Like, I just started part 3, so I'm like exactly halfway. And I'm really enjoying it so far. I honestly might do a review for it because I think it's really good, and I've been really nervous about this series because I didn't love the second book that much, but I just reread the first 2 books, and I liked them even, like, I liked book 1 even more than the first 2 times I read it. And that's saying a lot because I gave it 5 stars when I read it for the first 2 times, and I did like book 2 more as well, and I actually raised my rating from 3 stars to 4 for that book. And this one, so far, is really good. I definitely want to do a spoiler-filled review for it now that I'm talking about it because there's just a lot to say, and this is, like, one of the most anticipated, like, this is the longest I've ever had to wait for, like, the next book in a series, and the finale at that. So I'm hoping that the next half of the book is not going to disappoint, and yeah, it's also really beautiful, like, as always. Like, I love the covers of this series, and yeah, I hope that the final battle doesn't let me down, and I hope that I can give this book 5 out of 5 stars and gush about it in my upcoming review. But that is forthcoming. That is it for this video. I went through a ton of books very, very quickly, but I'm super excited to have all these books and dive into them and finally put some on my red shelf. But that is it for this video. I really hope you all enjoyed. All of my social media links are in the description box below, and I will see you soon for a new video. Bye!